Welcome back, my friends, to the Hotspot. It was over a week ago wherein Adelup announced the launching of the Nina Metgut Famalawan, the Making Women Stronger Adult High School Completion Scholarship Program. And joining me now live in studio to talk about this tremendous opportunity for young women is someone who I've seen not only as a friend, but a mentor and a colleague for many, many years, Jayne Flores, the Bureau of Women's Affairs Director. First time I've actually spoken to you face to face.
It's wonderful to be back in person with people.
Yeah, so welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. The studio looks great.
Oh, we hope you like what we've done with the place.
Yeah.
The aircon is to your liking, I hope.
Yeah, that's always an issue. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, something that is not an issue, Jayne, is certainly this scholarship program for young women. You know, as the head of Bureau of Women's Affairs, of course, you know, by your nature, but also a passion of yours personally, is to make opportunities available for young women because there's such a distinct set of challenges that our beloved females have and everything. So can you break down the mechanics of this program, please?
Sure. Well, you know, I want to thank Governor Lou and Lieutenant Governor Josh because there was ARP funding that was available, and they said, okay, if you have an idea, you know, submit a grant application as Bureau of Women's Affairs or, you know, and I said, okay, I have this idea. This is what I want to do. And they said, hey, go for it. So, and I used to work at GCC for almost 10 years. And once you work at GCC, you know, you're always, GCC is in your heart, right? So,
my late father would feel the same way as a former provost.
That's right. And, but I knew the challenges that the adult high school diploma program women had. You know, there are a lot of challenges to trying to graduate from high school when you're older. And we had a very dismal graduation rate. And so I thought, you know what, we're going to do something about this. And the pandemic, you know, coupled with the pandemic having a greater impact in women, you know, that's documented that women suffered more in the pandemic. And I thought, let's try to get women who had to drop out of high school for one reason or other, some sort of incentive to graduate. And so what this program does is there are two avenues. And what you do is, I worked with Dr. Okada at GCC and Denise Mendiola and Yolanda Topazna, who is in charge of the adult ed program.
The four of you together, I mean, that's a strong women group right there.
There you go. And so what we did was so what you're going to do is you fill out an application, and you have two ways to graduate from high school once you're an adult. You can either go into the adult high school diploma program, which is a series of classes that you have to take, and it's federally funded, so the classes are free. Or you can take the GED. Now, to take the GED test, it's $125. And Denise told me, if you're going to do this where they have to take the GED, you're going to have to front the money. So what we do is you apply, and whichever avenue you want to go through, you know, and one of the important things about this, Jason, is that if you are already in the adult high school program at GCC, please apply, because we will, if you are going to graduate in December or in May, apply for this, because we will give you, what you do is once you graduate, we give you a $500 scholarship. We'll hand you a check for $500 that you can use to get all of the things that you need to get employed. You know, your police clearance, your court clearance, your clothes, gas, you know, whatever you need.
Yeah,
right?
you're going to drive around a lot.
Right,
you know.
whatever you need to get a job. And also, GCC will, if you're in the adult high school program, they will help you. They usually help you to, you know, after you have graduated, either to get into a program or to get a job. They have, you know, programs where they're aligned with some of the employers around.
And that is the lineage that you helped to create. It's not just, okay, well, you fulfilled your 30 credits and everything like that. Have fun, you know, call yourself an alumni now. Yeah,
right.
I mean, you know, the resource pipeline continues.
Continues there. So this is really a good opportunity. And, you know, usually most people want to take the GED because that is something that is easy to get out of the way. Now, you know, if you're like me, I'm fairly decent at English, so I would pass that portion of it, but I'm terrible at math. So I would.
You're actually quite good at English. I know that. I wrote many papers in high school based on your fine work.
But thank you. But if math, not so good. So I would, you know, you fail the math. There's 4 components of the GED. So we've worked it out with GCC where we will, your name, you know, goes onto a list. You go there, you take the GED, and we will pay the $125 and then whatever retakes you have, because it's 11 I think it's $11.25 for the first 2 retakes, and then $31.25 for after that. And what we'll do is, however many retakes you have to take, we will subtract that from the $500 and then give you a check for the remainder once you pass the GED.
Wow.
So
that is incredibly generous. That's also very, very logical because, like you said, again, females have a very distinct chance, and no judgment. I mean, there's so many different use cases of what could have happened. And I appreciate how you brought up GCC, because we did a story last week when GCC just had their graduation ceremony at UOG. And one of the women we talked to, she said, I had to kind of like slow down because I had a baby, but I'm doing this for my child.
And that is what we see all the time. Most of the time, a lot of, these women drop out because they get pregnant, they have a baby, and then they, have another one, or then they get, a job where you're working. I just got a call the other day from some woman who said, I'm working 2 jobs. I really want to get my high school diploma so I can get a better job.
So I won't have to work 2 jobs all the time, right?
And this is the opportunity. Please apply. We've had calls. We haven't had any applications yet. They're due May 31st. We want all the applications in. So just apply. You don't have, the only thing we need on the application is a photo ID. That's it. I mean, a copy of your photo ID.
So that's Tuesday after next, the deadline is.
Yes, right. So and it's on our website, bwa.guam.gov. It's a PDF fillable. You can download it, fill it out, or we've worked it out with the mayors, because a lot of the mayors know some of the women in the villages who need this kind of service or help. So you can get an application at your mayor's office, fill it out, leave it at your mayor's office, we will come and get it.
Can I just ask, Jayne, that you could maybe speak to how important it is in today's modern cosmopolitan, technological society? I mean, there's a million different things going on. How important it is to get that baseline of education, especially for young women?
It is so important. So if you had to drop out of high school for whatever reason, now you do have to be 18 or older in order to avail of this scholarship, because they asked us to not make it 16 because they want kids to finish high school.
Sure.
They said, please make it 18 or older. We talked to GCC about this. And so, but it is so important, because without your high school diploma, you can't register for post-secondary classes. You can barely get a job. I know people who don't have a high school diploma who have lied to get a job, and, they're lucky the employer doesn't ask for, any kind of copy of the diploma or anything.
And then that speaks to character, and ultimately that might catch up with you.
Right. So, but please, 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 ladies, if you need this help, please apply, because it's out there, it's available. Now, if you are already in the adult high school program, like I said, apply, because the money will be there when you graduate. We have 36 scholarships available. And that's quite, I was thinking, oh, wow, that's not a whole lot. But you know what? When you look at all the scholarships available, it is a pretty big chunk of people that we're going to be helping.
Sure.
So, and what else was I going to say? The GED portion, I talked to Denise Mendiola over at GCC, and she said, Jayne, you're going to have to front that $125, because, that's a big chunk of change, especially now. And so we will pay for the $125.
That is tremendous, because $125 might not sound like a lot to some people, and they're like, but to a lot of people, especially those single mothers, women who maybe
and don't worry if you're not good at math, because we'll pay for the retake for the math too. So.
Well, you said you were saying that your strength is the written word, perhaps not math. And I know someone in your family that is quite good at math. An engineer. You've got several engineers in your family now, so you got that covered. Okay, what is the vetting process, Jayne? Once applicants actually get their paperwork in, when will they know? We will know. We're going to try to get together a committee of a couple women. My friend Carlotta Leon Guerrero has agreed to be on the committee too, and a couple other women. And we're just going to look over these applications. It's not hard. We just need for you to tell us, when you dropped out of high school, what was your reason, how many kids you have, and why you want to do this. So just a short couple sentences about why you want to do this. You don't have to write an essay or anything like that. We wanted to make it fairly easy. Okay, now how about for those women out there? Because, our culture tends to be a little bit bashful. I mean, they say, fortune favors the bold. And obviously, if you take this first step, that is very, very fortunate. But maybe for some women out there who might be saying, I'm a little bit hesitant or I'm a little bit, shy to do that and everything like that. What's it going to take for them to get to
Call
that
me.
next step?
Call me up. Call my office 475-9162 or call my cell 483-6409.
Okay, trust me, young ladies and everything. Jayne is a wonderful person to talk to on the phone, and by the end of that phone call, you are really going to be thoroughly convinced that that is the decision
If
you
you are
want to make.
Mamalo, I will print out the application and meet you somewhere with it. We really want women to be able to take care of this. I want to get all of these scholarships out there.
Okay, so again, that's Tuesday after next, May 31st is the deadline. So let's please, young ladies, whatever situation you're in, no judgment, no shade, no hate. We will absolutely get you.
We just want you to get the high school diploma so that you can rock it to whatever else you want to do.
Exactly. The rest of your life awaits. So Jayne, thank you so much. And again,
Thank
so
you,
good
Jason.
to see you.
It's so wonderful to see you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got like 40 years of journalism experience sitting right here in the KUM studios and everything. But Jayne, you know you've got an open invitation if you ever want to come back, and especially with amazing programs like this.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. And ladies, please apply.
Yes, please. Okay, and the hotspot will continue right after this.
Thanks.